Hi there, Jeff Slakey from the Alderbrook Resort for the Affordable Housing Workforce Summit put on by Peninsula Credit Union and other great organizations around the community. I'm sitting now with Dana Rosenbach, the superintendent of the North Mason School District. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks. And thanks for sitting me to talk with me a little bit about affordable workforce housing. I kind of want to just talk about it in the school district sense. What have you learned about childhood learning and learning in general through the school systems if there is that sort of stable, affordable workforce housing available?
Well, getting ready for this, I did a little more research than just looking at the anecdotal information that we have in North Mason, And it's very, very interesting when you look at it both nationally and internationally. But in the United States, children before the age of 15 have moved at least one time, over the majority of children in our schools, and over 50% have moved 3 or more times. And the research shows that children who have moved 3 or more times, who come from a family where they're struggling with poverty in other ways, have a 52% lower lifetime earning rate than children who haven't moved that much. So it's a very big deal. It also impacts children's moving 3 or more times, puts a child at least a year behind their peers academically. Just moving once in the years between 6 and 10 puts them 4 to 6 months behind. So it just compounds, and then when we look at the other adverse childhood experiences that many children in poverty tend to experience, we're putting kids at a huge disadvantage because they don't have a place where they know they're going to be going home to the same house that night, or maybe that month, or for a few months.
What's the makeup of the North Mason school districts when it comes to children and families who aren't in affordable housing and in a kind of a home? They're able to go home every night.
So we measure poverty in schools based on free and reduced lunch status. And in North Mason, it depends on the month sometimes, and it depends on the grade level, because children in middle school and high school start to do their own reporting and fill out their own forms, and sometimes they aren't as accurate about the information that they know or that they put on those forms. So as a district, we're about 56% free and reduced lunch. But if we look at our elementary schools where the parents are filling out the forms, the level is much higher. And in fact, we were able to qualify for a special federal program that allows us to provide free lunch and breakfast to all elementary school kids based on the level of poverty that we have in our schools. So,
how additionally would this type of housing benefit the staff of the North Mason School District?
Well, I think it's a really big deal. We have some individual examples. We lost a really good staff member who we really appreciated, was a new young staff member, and was able to take advantage of Habitat for Humanity in North Kitsap and not in our community. And so he moved he built his house in North Kitsap and eventually moved closer to there with a new teaching job. In our community, in our district, most of our employees are doing better than they were a few years ago.
Okay.
So, the numbers that they presented this morning, that housing rents have gone up 20% in the last 20 years in Mason County, and income has only gone up 7%. For most of our employees, that's not true. The amount of income has gone up considerably more. For teachers, it's 2.5 times what it was 20 years ago. But that doesn't tell the whole story, because most of our employees, besides the teachers, are part-time employees. So although they make more than the minimum wage in our community, our lowest paid classified employee makes $14 and change an hour, they're working part-time jobs, and often that's the only job they have to support their family on. So they're still falling into that group of community members who are housing challenged, who are struggling because they're paying more than 30% of their income to put a roof over the heads of themselves and their families.
If there's more affordable housing in the North Mason School District, what would that do for the bottom line and the taxes that would be able to come in? How helpful would that be for the district?
Well, obviously, more housing brings more taxes.
Sure.
And so that's good in a lot of ways. That allows us to ask our individual family members to pay fewer taxes, because when we run a school levy, it's based on a whole dollar amount. So if there are more people to spread it around to, every individual is paying lower taxes. So that's a plus for our community. We know that our community is growing, and we are going to continue to grow, whether we have 5 families in a home or 1 family in a home. And having affordable housing available is going to take stress off of the children. It's going to then lower the stress that's in the classroom. It's going to make learning easier. It's going to allow us to have the funds to provide better systems, better opportunities for kids to learn, and really great facilities to do it in. So all of that is really important.
Have you, as the superintendent, been able to talk with the county commissioners about ways that they would maybe be able to help you, help the staff and students of the North Mason School District to become available for more affordable housing? Is that something that a role of a superintendent should be, to talk to the county commissioners about ways to fix this?
Well, we've started to do more and more partnering in that way. In many communities, maybe not, but in a community like ours where we are so much a part of the lives of our families, it's important for us to advocate and to work with our colleagues like the county commissioners on that. So we have started to do more and more of that kind of conversation as we look at the upcoming growth in our community. We all are anticipating really considerable growth, and how we're going to meet that need without putting too much stress on our infrastructure and on our families and on our schools is going to rely very strongly on everybody working together to solve the problems that we're talking about today.
Dana Rosenbach is the superintendent of the North Mason School District. Thank you so much.